In one miraculous night, the Prophet Muhammad traveled from Mecca to Jerusalem and ascended through the heavens. But what really happened during this divine journey? Why is it still so important today? In this video, we're diving into the incredible details of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, the journey that transformed our understanding of faith, prayer, and connection with Allah. Stay with us to discover the powerful lessons from this extraordinary event that still resonate with millions of believers around the world. The journey of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj took place during one of the most challenging periods in the life of the Prophet Muhammad. At this point, the Prophet had endured years of rejection, persecution, and hardship from his own people, the Quraysh. Despite his efforts to spread the message of Islam, he was met with hostility, mockery, and cruelty. This period also included the tragic loss of two of the closest people in his life, his beloved wife Khadija, who had been his rock of support from the very beginning of his prophethood, and his uncle Abu Talib, who had protected him against many of the Quraysh's attacks. This year became known as the Year of Sorrow. The Prophet's attempt to find refuge in the nearby city of Taif only deepened his suffering. He traveled there with hope, seeking new Al-Isra for Islam. But instead, the people of Taif rejected him brutally. They not only turned him away, but they also incited the children of the city to stone him, forcing him to leave with his body injured and his heart heavy with grief. This marked one of the lowest points in his life. In the midst of this intense sorrow and isolation, Allah granted the Prophet an incredible gift, a miraculous journey that would uplift his spirit and reinforce his mission. This event, known as Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, would forever change not only his life but also the lives of every Muslim to come. It was a divine reminder that, despite the hardships he faced on earth, Allah was with him every step of the way, guiding and protecting him. Al-Isra refers to the first part of the journey, the night travel from Mecca to Jerusalem. The Prophet was resting in the house of Hani when the angel Jibril descended from the heavens. Jibril opened the roof of the house and brought a mystical creature known as Al-Burak, a white beast larger than a donkey but smaller than a mule, whose stride extended as far as the eye could see. This extraordinary creature would carry the Prophet on the night journey. As the journey began, the Prophet was taken from the sacred Kaaba in Mecca to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, a holy site significant to previous prophets. But this journey wasn't simply a direct road. It was filled with stops at important locations that held great spiritual value. Jibril commanded the Prophet to dismount and pray at key points. Medina. The first stop was in the city that would later become the Prophet's refuge. At this point, the people of Medina had not yet accepted Islam, but soon after this night, they would embrace the message and become the Ansar, the helpers, who supported the Prophet and his mission, Mount Sinai. The second stop was at the very place where Allah had revealed the Torah to Prophet Musa. This stop reinforced the connection between the revelations given to previous prophets and the final message being delivered through Muhammad, Bethlehem. The third stop was in the birthplace of Prophet Isa, again emphasizing the unity of the prophets and the continuation of Allah's message throughout history. The grave of Musa. The Prophet passed by the resting place of Musa, who was found standing in prayer in his grave. This moment demonstrated the elevated status of the prophets and showed that they remain alive in a spiritual sense, continuing their devotion to Allah even after their physical deaths. Finally, the Prophet arrived at Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the sacred mosque in Jerusalem, known as the third holiest site in Islam. Here, an extraordinary event took place, one that solidified the unity of all prophets. Waiting inside Al-Aqsa were 124,000 prophets, and the Prophet Muhammad was asked to lead them in prayer. This act was more than symbolic. It was a clear indication of the finality and universality of the Prophet's mission, he stood as the leader of all previous messengers, showing that the message of Islam was the culmination of the guidance that had been revealed to humanity through these prophets. In this sacred space, the Prophet also encountered Malik, the guardian of hell, and saw other angels as they descended to witness the prayer. This moment reinforced the spiritual significance of the journey and prepared the Prophet for what was to come. After arriving at Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the journey of Al-Isra was complete, but the Prophet Muhammad was about to experience something even more extraordinary: Al-Mi'raj, the ascension to the heavens. This part of the journey, known as the Mi'raj, marks one of the most profound spiritual events in Islamic history. From the noble rock, located at what is now the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, the Prophet Muhammad ascended into the heavens, accompanied by the angel Jibril. What makes this moment so significant is not just the physical ascension, but the spiritual encounters and divine experiences that the Prophet was about to witness. As the Prophet ascended through the 7 heavens, he was greeted by different prophets at each level. The first heaven held the Prophet Adam, the father of humanity. Adam welcomed the Prophet warmly and acknowledged his mission. This encounter symbolized the beginning of the lineage of prophethood that Muhammad was now completing. At the second heaven, the Prophet Muhammad met Isa and Yahya, both significant figures in Islamic tradition. They too welcomed the Prophet and blessed him on his journey. These meetings emphasized the continuity of the message of monotheism and righteousness, showing how all the prophets were connected by their shared mission to guide humanity. In the third heaven, the Prophet encountered Yusuf, whose beauty and character were renowned. Yusuf welcomed the Prophet, reflecting the importance of inner and outer beauty in both character and appearance, something the Prophet Muhammad exemplified. In the fourth heaven, the Prophet met Idris, a figure known for his piety and deep connection with Allah. Idris was one who had been raised to a high station, symbolizing the elevation of those who live in true devotion to Allah. Upon reaching the fifth heaven, the Prophet encountered Harun, the brother of Musa, who was known for his leadership among the children of Israel. Harun's welcome symbolized the importance of standing firm in the face of opposition, just as the Prophet Muhammad had done during his struggles with the Quraysh. At the sixth heaven, the Prophet met Musa, who welcomed him but wept upon realizing that the followers of the Prophet Muhammad would outnumber his own followers. This encounter is profound, as it illustrates the connection between the major prophets and their communities, and Musa's reflection on the importance of the message of Muhammad. Finally, at the seventh heaven, the Prophet met Ibrahim, the patriarch of monotheism. Ibrahim greeted him from a resting place near the Lote tree, Sidrat al-Muntaha, which marked the boundary beyond which no angel or prophet could pass. Ibrahim's greeting symbolized the final culmination of the prophetic mission, as both he and the Prophet Muhammad shared a deep spiritual legacy of calling people to the worship of one true God. Beyond the Lote tree, the Prophet Muhammad stood in the divine presence of Allah, an experience no other prophet had been granted. In this extraordinary encounter, the Prophet received the command of the 5 daily prayers, which would become one of the central pillars of Islam. Initially, 50 prayers were commanded, but upon the advice of Musa, the Prophet Muhammad returned to Allah multiple times to request a reduction until it was brought down to 5 daily prayers. Yet, the reward for performing these 5 prayers would still be equivalent to 50, showcasing Allah's infinite mercy. This moment in the divine presence is one of the most significant events in Islamic history. It established the practice of daily prayers, which serve as a direct link between Muslims and their Creator. The prayers are a means of spiritual ascension for every believer, just as the Prophet Muhammad physically ascended to the heavens. Throughout this journey, the Prophet also witnessed glimpses of the rewards and punishments that await people in the hereafter. He showed even views of paradise and hell, which provided insight to determine the consequences of one's actions in this life. These visions were a reminder of the moral and ethical responsibilities that every holy person carries and the importance of living a life in accordance with Allah's commands. The final phase of this miraculous journey is Al-Mi'raj, the ascension of the Prophet Muhammad into the heavens, where he experienced a profound spiritual connection with Allah. Beyond the physical ascent, this moment signified a unique encounter, one that forever shaped not only the Prophet's life, but the practice of Islam itself. Upon entering the divine presence, the Prophet was given the command of the 5 daily prayers. Originally instructed to perform 50 prayers, the Prophet returned to Allah multiple times at the urging of Musa to seek a reduction. Out of his immense mercy, Allah reduced the requirement to 5 daily prayers, while still granting the reward of 50. This act illustrates the depth of Allah's compassion for His creation, ensuring that the prayer remains a manageable yet powerful means of worship and connection. The significance of the prayer goes beyond the number. These daily prayers became the cornerstone of the Muslim faith, representing a direct link between every believer and Allah. Just as the Prophet ascended to the heavens and stood in the divine presence, the daily prayers offer each Muslim the chance to spiritually ascend, elevating their soul and drawing closer to their Creator. The prayer is not just a ritual, it is a moment of divine connection, a reminder of Allah's mercy, and an opportunity to reflect and find peace amidst the challenges of life. Moreover, during this heavenly journey, the Prophet Muhammad was shown glimpses of the rewards and punishments that await people in the hereafter. He witnessed the beauty and tranquility of paradise, reserved for those who live righteous lives, as well as the torment of hell, a warning to those who stray from Allah's path. These visions were not only a source of guidance for the Prophet, but also a clear message to all of humanity about the importance of living a life of faith, morality, and submission to Allah. The Miraj, therefore, was not just a personal experience for the Prophet Muhammad, but a pivotal moment for the entire Muslim community. It solidified the practice of daily prayer and provided a spiritual roadmap for believers, reminding them of their purpose and the path they must follow. The Prophet returned to earth not only strengthened, but also equipped with a message that would bring comfort and guidance to his followers, showing them that even in the darkest times, Allah is near. In the face of immense suffering, the Prophet was granted this incredible journey, reaffirming the Quranic verse, "Verily, with hardship comes ease," 94:6. This journey served as a divine reminder that no matter how difficult our trials may be, Allah's mercy and support are always present. The daily prayers are a lasting gift from that night, a way to reconnect with Allah and seek His guidance and comfort every single day. As we've seen, the Night Journey and Ascension of the Prophet Muhammad was an event filled with deep spiritual lessons and lasting significance for all Muslims. It reminds us of Allah's mercy, the power of prayer, and the unbreakable connection we can have with our Creator, even in the most difficult moments. This story is a reminder that with every hardship, there is ease, and that Allah is always with us. If this story has inspired you, we invite you to write Ameen in the comments and give this video a like, but if you'd love to hear more stories like this. Your support helps us continue sharing these powerful lessons from the Quran and the life of the Prophet. Thank you for watching, and may Allah's peace and blessings be upon you all.